Talk about subtracting integers using number lines. So let's model -4, you take away 5 positives. I have 4 negatives. I need to take away 5 positives. Are there any positives to take away? No. I need something called zero pair. So this is a zero pair. 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 Do you notice how when you have a zero pair, nothing changes? It is as if I started with -4 still. These represent 0. So I'm still in -4. Can I take away 5 positives? Yes, I can. What do you have now? 2, 4, 6, I have 9 negatives. Some of you may say, did you add 5 positives to get this answer? Remember our last lesson we call adding the opposite. So I start with -4. I added the opposite. What's the opposite of 5? -5. So -4, I added these 5 negatives to get the answer. That's why the answer is -9. So -4 minus 5 is equivalent, it's the same thing as writing as -4 plus -5. It's called the additive inverse. Additive inverse is the opposite of that. Inverse is the opposite operation. So you have -5, +5, plus, minus. So for these problems, sketch a number line. So starting at 0 again. I go back to -2. I go back -6. I go back 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there another way to rewrite this number line with addition? So I start at 0. I start at -2. I'm going to add. So how is this written? It seems like they put it together by going backward 6. And that's -8. So let's look at this. Are they the same problem? Yes, they are. So again, adding the opposite. I add this. Opposite of 6 is -6. So here it says, I go 2 back. I go take back 6, -6. -2, I go back 2. I'm going to put it by going back 6. Same equivalent problem. All right, start at 0. I go 9 forward. -12, I need to go back 12. Let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. -3. Oh, by the way, this is -8, -3. Is there another way to rewrite this number line using an addition? So 0, I go to 9. I put it together with this arrow that seems like it's going backward by 12. So 9 plus -12. Are these equivalent expressions? Yes, they are. Add the opposite. Change the minus to an add. Change the 12 to a negative. 9 minus 12 is the same as saying 9 plus -12. Next one. I start at 0. I go back 4. -2. I go back 2 more. So I'm at -6. Is there a way to write this using an addition? As an addition expression. -4. Go back 4. I'm putting it with another arrow that goes back 2. So it'll be -2. So -4 minus 2 is the same as saying -4 plus -2. Again, why? Add the opposite. Add opposite to -2. All right, next one. I have a start at 0. I go to 6. And this is where it gets hard. I'll be honest. Number line, this is extremely confusing. That's why it's good to turn it into an additive expression. Let's do that first. So yeah, start with 6. Add the opposite, that's positive. 6 plus 2 is 8. So what it's saying, so this goes this way. What it's saying is this. You go to 6. You're going to go back 2. But here it says -2. That's the opposite. So instead of going back 2, you're going forward by 2. So that's why some people see this as confusing. That's why I like turning it into an additive expression. So again, add the opposite. Add opposite. All right, number line. Start at 0, go back to -1. You're going back -7, but that's the opposite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're at 6. But how would you write that using an additive expression? Add the opposite, -1. It goes forward 7, which is 6. So add the opposite. You're at 0. You go to 2, forward. You go back -6, but the opposite. So I'm going forward 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait. 2, go forward 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm at 8. Is there a way to write this with an additive expression? You go start at 0, you go to 2, then you're adding, going forward by 6, 2 plus 6. So add the opposite. So, do you really want to use counters and number lines forever and ever? Or do you just want to add the opposite? So, 20 take away 6 negative is the same as what? They both start off with the same integer. Add opposite -6 is positive. So 20 plus 6 is 26. -1, start at -1. You add the opposite. What's the opposite of 17? -17. Do you have more negatives or more positive here? They're all negatives, so you have 18 negatives. -3, take away 21 negatives. So we add the opposite. Do you have more negatives or more positives? Wait, so it's the same as -3 plus 21. Do you have more negatives or more positives? We have more positives. How many more positives do we have? We have 18 more positives. So -3 minus -21 is the same as saying -3 plus 21. We have 22 negatives. I need to take away 2 of those negatives. So it'll be -20. But is there a way to write this using an additive expression? Start with -22. I'm adding the opposite. What's the opposite of -2? 2. I have more negatives by 20. So I have 7 negatives. I need to take away 7 positive. So I know I have to do 0 pairs here. So I have -7. Add the opposite. So it'll be -7. That's -14. -10. Add the opposite. -4. So -10 put together with -4 is -14 also. So -6. I'm taking away, I need to take away 2 negatives from that. So I'm left with 4 negatives. But why? Let's show it with add the opposite. Add opposite. I have 4 more negatives than positive. -5. I need to take away 5 negatives from the thing. So that's going to be probably 0. So add opposite. So -5 plus 5 is 0. So let's try some with a word problem. In the North Pole, the temperature was -30 degrees in the morning. In the South Pole, the temperature was -10 degrees. Find the difference between. Difference mean subtract. So you have -30 minus -10. So if you think about it, here's a thermometer. -10, -20, -30. Here's 0. So here's -30 right here. Here is -10. What is the difference from negative 10 to negative 30? So, it seems like it's going to be 20 degrees negative. Let's see. Add the opposite. Is there another way to rewrite it as additive expression? Add the opposite. Add 30 negatives and put it with 10 positive. It is negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the difference between these two. So this is subtracting integers. So again, add the opposite.